All right, cool. So we're actually gonna go through lighting the fire for a charcoal grill. When I say charcoal, I'm not really talking about Kingsford. I really only use some kind of lump coal natural wood to light my fire. So pan over and you can kind of see what my coal looks like. So to get started, first things first, we are no lighter fluid grilling house. Lighter fluid, I really believe taints your food, puts all kind of toxins in it and all of that stuff. So we're not using lighter fluid, we lighting our fire naturally. And you can use a lot of ways to light your fire naturally. People use the chimney, people use newspaper, wood, whatever the case is. I use these little things called fire lighters. They're really just little pieces of cardboard that you just kind of break in two, like so. And then you just kind of stick them all around your fire. So that's what we're gonna do. And you just kind of get them so that you got all the areas of your fire kind of covered. So when your fire starts, it'll be kind of even. And then I just kind of drop one right in the middle. Now when you're placing them, you got to leave a little open space so that they have some air for the fire to get started. So if you see, I got them in there, but I got it so that they all can breathe a little bit. And then whatever kind of lighter method you want to do, basically all you do is light them. Sorry about my neighbor mowing his grass right now. Light them, and you want to kind of make sure that they are still inside some of the charcoal at the same time leaving room for it to breathe, okay? And so that's that. One thing you want to make sure, guys, is that all your vents are open for this. So we are going to let this fire get going, and then we'll be back in a little bit and I'll show you what the next steps are, okay? Thanks. So as you can see, our fire starters are in. The fire, they're starting to go, but we want to let this go for a little bit until it actually catches on to some of the pieces of the coal. And then I'm gonna just close the lid. Once I close the lid, we're gonna bring it up to that temperature that I talked about, 450, 500 degrees, something like that. I want you to keep track of the time, right? So it took us maybe 3 minutes to get this thing going. This thing right now has been only going for about 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. So I want to keep track because really it should take no more than about 30 minutes to get your fire ready to grill. Okay, so we'll be back shortly. Okay, so it has been maybe another 4 or 5 minutes. I want you to get a look at this. So the fire starters have actually caught on to some of the coal. So what I'm getting ready to do now, I'm getting ready to close this lid. Again, all of my grates are open, and if you look at my temperature, it's at 0. Right now, I'm gonna let this thing get rolling, and I'm gonna let it go up to maybe 450-ish, something like that, and then we'll be back and I'll show you what my next steps are. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes now since this fire has been lit. Now, if you look at my temperature, we started at 0. My temperature is up to 500 right now. So now what I'm getting ready to do, I'm gonna open this lid and I'm gonna distribute my coals out. And I will then put my rack back on, okay? Now, with my particular grill, when you open a grill at 500 degrees, you gotta do what they call burp it. And that means just open it up just a little bit. When you got a temperature this hot, if you open it up too fast, it'll get too much oxygen and maybe a big flame will come out. So you just want to burp it a little bit and then open it up. So now, take a look. You see we got a nice fire going in here. Now you just want to distribute it so that you got nice even. Now if you're going to be doing some indirect cooking, you may want to push it all to one side. But I don't really care. I'll be controlling my temperature and everything that I'm cooking will be right over the fire. Now I'm putting my rack back on. I'm gonna wait for it a little bit and then I'll show you what's next. Here, you can stay with me. as you see, my temperature went down just a little bit because we closed the lid. We don't want our temperature that high anyway. We're not cooking, you know, typically you're cooking at 375, right? So now we know we got a really good fire. What we gonna do now? We're gonna start playing with our vents. I know what my grill settings are, but what you wanna do now is start playing with your vents until it gets down to your desired temperature. Once it gets to your desired temperature, you can leave your vents where they are for your cooking. But you'll be now controlling your temperature. You got a really good controlled fire, and you can now control your temperature by vents, right? So that is lighting a fire on a grill 101. We got our coals, put our fire starters in, got those things going with the lid open. Once they were going pretty good, we closed our lid, we raised our grill temperature up higher than what our cooking temperatures will be, just so that we know we have a really good flame. Once we verified we had a good flame, we now put our grate back on, leveled out the coals, and we will now control our cooking with our vents. And that's how you light a grill. There you go. And that is how you actually light a fire. This is Levice, your boy from Cooking with Levice's Corner. Thanks.